gentlemen, I'd like to call this meeting of the County Commissioners to order. If everyone could please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We could remain standing for a moment of silence and keep all the people all across the world that's suffering through wars and all kinds of adversities, keep them in our prayers. Thank you very much. As everyone knows, time is allotted at the end of each meeting for the commissioners to receive comments from the public. First of all, we have some public notices. I'm going to read the first two here. This is new legislation that was adopted, and I'm going to read it real quick. Code Home Rule Bill number 5-2024, introduced by Ronald H. Fithian, President of the Board of County Commissioners for Kent County, Maryland. An act concerning Chapter 120, pawnbrokers and secondhand dealers of the Code of Public Local Laws of Kent County, Maryland, for the purpose of clarifying definitions to not include a firearm purchased or sold in a transaction regulated by a federal firearms license, by repealing Chapter 120, pawnbrokers and secondhand dealers, and reenacting with amendments Chapter 120, pawnbrokers and secondhand dealers, Section 120-2 definitions. This legislation was adopted on August the 20th, 2024 without amendments, and the provisions of this act shall take effect on October the 4th, 2024. This bill in its entirety is on file at the Commissioner's Office, 400 High Street, Chestertown, Maryland, Monday through Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. and on the county's website at www.kentcounty.com. By order of County Commissioners of Kent County, Maryland, Sandra M. Blackston, Clerk, and it was published in the Kent County News on 8/29/24, 9/5/24, and 9/12/24. Tom, you as a legal, you have anything you want to add to that?
No, I believe, Mr. President, you covered everything for those two.
Okay, all right. And then our second adoption notice. We have Code Home Rule Bill number 6-2024, introduced by Ronald H. Fithian, President of the Board of County Commissioners for Kent County, Maryland. An act to amend Chapter 152, Taxation, Article Roman numeral 7, Clean Energy Loan Programs, 152-30, 152-31, and 152-32 of the Code of Public Local Laws of Kent County, Maryland, for the purpose of defining certain terms, establishing a clean energy loan program for commercial property owners, establishing the scope of and eligibility for the Clean Energy Loan Program, providing for qualifying criteria, establishing a calculation of the Clean Energy Loan surcharge, providing for a recorded notice, providing for the collection of loan payments, establishing default procedures, providing for financing or refinancing of qualifying projects under the Clean Energy Loan Program, providing for the application of this act and generally related to the Clean Energy Loan Program and real property taxes as consistent with provisions and the authority of the annotated State Code of Maryland Local Government Article 1-1102. This legislation was adopted on August the 20th, 2024 without amendments, and the provisions of this act shall take effect on October the 4th, 2024. This bill in its entirety is on file at the Commissioner's Office, 400 High Street, Chestertown, Maryland, Monday through Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m., and on the county's website at www.kentcounty.com. by order of the County Commissioners of Kent County, Maryland, Sandra M. Blackston, Clerk, and it was published in the Kent County News on 8/29/24, 9/5/24, and 9/12/24. The next one is our Code Home Rule Bill number 7-2024, entitled Self-Storage Centers in the Industrial District, and I'll turn it over to our Attorney Tom Yeager.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is quite lengthy, so after I read the notice, I'm going to do a very concise explanation as to what this bill does. Code Home Rule Bill Number 7-2024, introduced by Ronald H. Fithian, President of the Board of County Commissioners for Kent County, Maryland. An act to amend Chapter 222 zoning of the Code of Public Local Laws of Kent County, Maryland, also known as the Kent County Land Use Ordinance, to address self-storage centers as a permitted use in the industrial district by A, amending Article 5 District Regulations, Section 15 Industrial District, Section 15.2 Permitted Principal Uses and Structures by adding a new number 20 as follows. Quote, self-storage centers provided the front facade of the center and any other facade visible from adjoining public roads reflect the scale, materials, and design features common to residential or historic structures in the county. Self-storage centers are subject to site plan review, quote. B, by amending Article 5 District Regulations, Section 11, Commercial, Section 11.2, Permitted Principal Uses and Structures, by replacing number 6 with self-storage centers provided the front facade of the center and any other facade visible from adjoining public roads reflect the scale, materials, and design features common to residential or historic structures in the county. Self-storage centers are subject to site plan review. And C, by including a certain non-codified provision to instruct county staff to make similar changes in the upcoming readoption of the land use ordinance. A public hearing will be held on September 10th, 2024 at 10 a.m. in the Commissioner's Hearing Room, R. Clayton Mitchell Jr., Kent County Government Center, 400 High Street, Chestertown, Maryland. The agenda for the meeting will be published online 24 hours in advance of the meeting at kentcounty.com/commissioners/meeting-agenda. Citizens are encouraged to participate in the public hearing process. If you require communication assistance, please contact the County Commissioner's Office at 410-778-4600 and press 4, or visit Maryland Relay at mdrelay.org no later than noon on Friday, September 6, 2024. A complete copy of the proposed legislative bill is available in the Commissioner's Office, 400 High Street, Chestertown, Maryland, Monday through Friday from 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m., and on the county's website at kentcounty.com/commissioners/draft-legislation. This is by order of the County Commissioners of Kent County, Sandra M. Blackston, Clerk. It was published in the Kent County News on August 22nd, 2024, and August 29th, 2024. Just in summary, we allow self-storage centers and other zoning districts in the county, and this bill simply adds them to the industrial district. And in addition, it also makes some changes for consistency. In some places in our code, we refer to self-storage centers as mini-storage. So this cleans things up. So throughout, they're referred to as self-storage centers for consistency.
Thank you. Then we have some 4 consent items. We have our regular session minutes dated August the 20th, 2024. We have our liquor minutes dated August the 20th, 2024. We have Mr. Pete Landon, who is Director of Office of Emergency Services, with the 2025 Police Accountability, Community, and Transparency Grant Financial Reporting Documentation. And again, Mr. Pete Landon, Director, Office of Emergency Services, the Police Accountability Board, Accountability Officer Consultant Contract. If there's any questions about either of these, if not, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to accept and approve all 4 of the consent items as presented. Second.
Got a motion and I have a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Then we have a special guest with us today, Miss Muriel Cole. Ms. Cole, you want to come up and, Sorgi, you can join her if you'd like. I'll call you May. No, just right there, be just fine.
Good morning.
Good morning. We'll have a certificate of appreciation to read, and this is to certify that Miss Muriel Cole is hereby recognized for 17 years of service as the Commissioner's Liaison for the Commission on Aging. Such commitment and loyalty are admired and well respected by all those who have had the honor of working with her. We, the County Commissioners of Kent County, Maryland, thank you for your continued devotion, dedication, and public service to Kent County and the community. Signed, the County Commissioners of Kent County, Maryland, Ronald H. Fithian, President, Albert H. Nickerson, Member, John F. Price, Member, dated August the 27th, 2024. And again, we, on behalf of the people of Kent County, it's our privilege to present you with this certificate and thank you for your dedicated service for Upper Shore Aging for all those years.
Thank you.
Very nice of you.
Thank you.
And Mayor, you're taking the role as she departs, are you?
She is my mentor, and I hope that I can keep up the good work. Thank
Well,
you.
I'm sure you
It's
can,
very
but there'll be
rewarding.
some large shoes to fill, but
I will.
I'm sure you were you were the first name that we all thought about in her departure, that you were there to
Well,
fall
thank you very
in
much. I
in
appreciate
line.
the support.
Would you want to could we have a picture taken? We'll stand over in front of that quilt and we'll present you with this and. We have a class, next up, we have a special Class C license, Minnery's Dream Alliance for a beer and wine. Made application for a beer and wine to take, a license to take place on September the 7th, 2024. Tom, if-
President, I do have one comment.
Yeah.
In regard to this license. One of the requirements is that the owner of the premises has to sign off on the license. And this event is not going to be held at the Minnery's Dream Alliance facility on American Legion Road, but rather at Fellowship Farm in Millington. And I think this was just an error by the person signing. It appears that the owner, I'm assuming Sandra Donnelly is the owner of the farm, she printed her name. Oh, wait a second. I'm looking here. It does not appear to have a, now it shows up. So the concern I had is when I was looking at it at my screen, there was no signature of the owner. Her name was printed, but there was no signature, but now I'm seeing a signature, which is strange.
We can attest there was a signature.
Yeah, I see it.
did the signature come in later? Because I think I read someplace that there was a problem with the signature
Yes,
too.
we were awaiting the signature of the owner of the property, and we did get that.
But now we have it.
But this is bizarre. My screen, sometimes I'm looking at my screen, and where the signature is, the printed name is where printed name is, but there's no signature there. And then when I go back to it, then the signature appears. There seems to be no rhyme or reason for this. So, in any event, if she signed it, I'm good with it, and it's a simple, if she didn't sign it, it's a simple fix. You just have her come in and sign. But if she signed, I'm good with it. For some reason, when I look at it on my screen, the signature's not appearing there.
She did sign, the
Yeah.
application would not have advanced to today if we didn't have the proper signature.
See, I'll
Very
show you.
Then I'll let,
I'm not making this up. If
I
you look
believe
at
you.
this,
I'm
there's
good.
nothing there.
I don't think he took his medicine this morning.
Yeah. But
Sound
anyway, if she signed, I'm good with it. And again, if she did, I'd recommend
like your
approval
computer's possessed
contingent
a little
on her
bit.
coming in and signing.
Close your eye, the other eye.
All right, then I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the special Class C per diem liquor license application for Menary's Dream Alliance.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the ayes have it. And we have Ms. Jillian Coleman, who is Director of Parks and Recreation. Carrie Klein, Deputy Director of Public Works, renaming of Ball Field E.
Did yours have? There's no signature there.
Welcome.
Morning, ladies.
Good morning.
There's that check, but there's no.
And Jill, you have 3 items on the agenda right now, so take them however you'd like.
Right here with you.
I just can't let us be here the whole time.
Since you're next.
The first one is renaming of a ball field. So we're here this morning. The fields at Wharton Park, of course, everyone knows, have been a vital foundation for our community, providing a space where individuals of all ages can congregate to engage in sports, watch sports, and celebrate the essence of the game. So we firmly believe that volunteers are a big part of our community. They give selfless of themselves. They're involved. So we're here to advocate for the renaming of E Diamond to Volunteer Field. We are in the process shortly here of putting new signage out there in Wharton Park. We have had a few concerns with people coming at Wharton Park. They're not sure where each ball field is because they're not labeled. The view of the labeling is not visible for people. So we figured in the process of doing this and getting the new signage, it would be a wonderful idea that we'd like to advocate for E Diamond to now be Volunteer Field, renamed as Volunteer Field.
Any questions?
No,
Gentlemen?
sir.
Then I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the proposal to rename E Diamond Ball Field to Volunteer Field.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the ayes have it.
Before we move on to your next
Sure.
topic, I was out at Wharton Park yesterday on 2 separate occasions. And I have never seen that park look as good as it does now. With the way the fields are being kept, it just looks perfect. Excellent. And I know the Commissioner's Office has received numerous comments on how nice the park is being maintained. So please share that with the folks that do that work.
Absolutely, absolutely.
They do a great job. On the other hand, and this is more for the Public Works, Deputy Director, I know in this year's budget, we are supposed to redo the bathrooms.
Yes,
Do we have a timeline on that?
yes, right now we're working on the sand courts and the backstops and fencing, and then after those proposals are taken care of, then we're moving on to.
But it will happen sometime this coming year.
Absolutely, yes.
And my next question was, while I was there on 2 separate occasions, and on both occasions, I had to use the porta potty. And I know we contract that out.
Correct.
How often do they clean those, or?
I will have to look into that, because that is I've heard that that has come back to my office in the past few days as well, so I'm following up with Mark Dixon regarding what that looks like for their general maintenance of those.
Well, I know they are hard to keep them clean, but the one I was utilizing, was pretty nasty there by the field hockey fields.
Okay.
And again, I'm not being critical, but if we need to clean them more often, especially in the heat of summer, it might be worth looking at.
I will address that. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. My second item is a dedication of a bench at Betterton Beach. Of course, we know about the save that our lifeguards made at Betterton Beach last year, but not only that, they are under-celebrated sometimes. They are heroes. They're committed to themselves to ensuring the safety of others. Their quick decision-making and bravery may go unnoticed, yet they have influenced significantly, especially on younger children. We hear a lot at the community center, especially the younger kids really look up to the lifeguards, and the lifeguards do take to our kids, especially our camp kids. But I feel like there should be a lasting tribute and a dedication to the reminder of the lives that they saved and that they will continue to save. For these kids being 15 to 20 years old, they do a remarkable job for us year after year. And then I just want the bench to act as a public symbol for a vital role that lifeguards play in our society, offering a space for appreciation for years to come. So I'm proposing allocating $1,300 from underutilized capital funds to acquire a bench in honor of our lifeguards to be placed at Betterton Beach. And these funds I already have in my budget, but I'm just asking if I can allocate from that capital budget and be able to purchase a bench.
Personally, I think that's an excellent idea
Thank
and well-deserved by the lifeguards. So, any other questions, comments? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the acquisition of a red bench valued at $1,300 to commemorate the lifeguards with the funding sourced from underutilized capital funds.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it.
Thank you. And then my last is just a departmental update about general things that are going on within our department. So generally, our staff are working diligently for the spring and summer season right now. Now we're flipping over to work for the fall. We currently do have one employee who is out on FMLA. Our summer season, of course, begins Memorial Day weekend. We have had a struggle with lifeguards this year, but we're doing the very best that we can with the lifeguard shortage, with kids going back to college. And then, of course, a lot of our kids play sports for the high school, which is a wonderful asset to them. And then we're working on, hopefully, after the season's over, we will be coming up with hopefully a game plan to be able to recruit more lifeguards next year. So hopefully there'll be more to come on that. But just in general, so you guys understand kind of our attendance each day at locations. Now, these are just average attendance. So at our community center pool, we average anywhere from 200 to 300 people per day. At our night swim, it's 100 to 150 per evening. Millington pool, it's about 60 to 80 per day. Bayside pool averages about 10 to 20 per day. And then Betterton Beach, we estimate anywhere from like over 400 people per day. It just depends. Just for an example, on 4th of July, the actual 4th of July holiday, they counted over 1,000 people and then they just quit counting. So that will give you just kind of a figure about how many people do come to our facilities. We were honored this year to have youth swim lessons. We gave a total of 90 participants youth swim lessons. Our head guards also conducted a week-long water safety class for our kiddie campers. That was new this year for the kiddie campers. So we did a session in the classroom for 45 minutes, and then we took them out into the pool to practice what they learned in the classroom session for an hour. And it was so popular that now our day camp kids want to do it. So we got to try to figure out a way next year to get our day camp kids to have a water safety program as well. Of course, we all know we live in Kent County. We have a lot of water around us, so we are all about trying to teach the kids, if not to swim, how to survive in the water if so unfortunately happens that they get in a situation where they need to learn to survive in the water. We taught adult swim lessons. We did have 7 participants this year. We are looking forward to the end of our aquatic season. We love to see it come. We also love to see it go. During these last 2 weeks, we are operating on a modified schedule because it's due to our lifeguards going to college and then leaving for high school practices. We did have 2 equipment malfunctions this year. One was at Millington and one was at Bayside. Luckily, we were able to absorb these costs into our budget and didn't have to ask for additional funding. Our summer camp, we had a total enrollment of 95 kids in our summer camp from 3.5 to 14-year-olds. We brought back our Leaders Club program this year, in which we had 6 kids in our Leaders Club program this year, which was great because we were only taking 8 kids. So we hope that if we continue with the Leaders Club program, as our kids go through our programs and go to Youth in Action, which is just before Leaders Club, then they'll continue with our programs. We are currently holding the last days of summer camp, which is the last 3 weeks before school starts. We have 60 kids in that program. And then our fall program, our registration's off to a great start. Fall programs that we're offering is our elementary after-school program at all 3 of our locations. We're offering beach tennis demos, senior nature hikes, kids' night out, family hike and make your own bird feeder. We're doing fall festival. We're doing Tots of Fun, park hop, quick ball, Start Smart Sport, fall softball league, ping pong, pickleball, platform tennis, co-ed youth indoor volleyball. We have free facility access cards for all incoming freshmen. We're doing junior wrestling open mat nights, punt, pass, and kick competition, and then we are doing CPR and first aid training courses. That's all of our fall program that we have. Of course, our big upcoming event is our Doggy Palooza, in which we partner with the Animal Care Shelter of Kent County, which will be September the 7th. 10 to 11 is for small dogs, and then 11 to 12 is for bigger dogs. Our fitness room and our facility access cards purchases have both increased in numbers. Our capital budgets that we have completed for FY25, we have our new pool furniture is in, we have our commercial grade elliptical equipment for the fitness room, our basketball adjustable rims are in, and our active net data card printers are completed. The book walk at Wharton Park is completed and is being used. Turner's Creek Garden, the Youth in Action kids and the Leaders Club kids have been volunteering there throughout our program. They loved it. It was very beneficial to them. Mr. Gilchrist is a wonderful mentor, and this program has been a standout experience for all of the kids. New service that we're starting in September, we'll be introducing and targeting parents seeking to utilize our fitness room during the daytime weekday hours. So we're allocating 2-hour windows that will allow parents to entrust their children to one of our staff members for supervision while they engage in their fitness routine. This is a complimentary service that will be available for anyone who has a facility access card. So they can come in and use our facility, and we will watch their child in the kids' room for a 2-hour window if they want to work out in our fitness room or walk the community center, gym. The only thing is they would have to stay on site at our facility and use all of our amenities. So thank you guys for your time. Does anyone have any questions?
No, but I think you're doing a great job for us, and I
Thank you.
appreciate all you do for us.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I know that the county has placed some AEDs around the county.
Yes.
Do you know how many you have around Wharton Park and your facility?
I believe, I'm going to defer to Pete if he's here, but I believe it's just one up on the bathhouse. Is that correct?
And that's kept where?
Where the bathhouse is, restroom,
Okay.
on the outside.
But wasn't there weren't we talking about putting one at Warden Park somewheres as well?
It is a word, on the
No, it's
bathroom.
there, it's at the bathroom facility.
Bathroom facility. at
Oh,
Warden Park.
I thought, but we got one down Betterton.
Betterton on that
Yes.
bathroom too.
Yes, one at Betterton, one at Warden.
And
He also
Millington,
put one
right?
at Millington Pool for us as
Right.
well.
Yeah, so I misunderstood you. I thought you said we had just one, and
Oh,
but we've
no.
got
Just one at
one in
Warden
each one of
Park.
those
Yes,
places, but
yes.
there's three out there that we know of.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, correct.
Very good.
Thank you.
Keep
Thank
up
you.
your work.
Thanks, Jill.
Next, Carrie, you're here, and
I'm here. So I'll start with the EMS facility contract award. Bids for the EMS facility were publicly advertised starting June 13th with a pre-bid meeting held on July 10th. Several addenda were issued to address contractor questions, including coordination with building code officials and the fire marshal regarding sprinkler system requirements. It was ultimately determined that the entire building would need to be sprinklered, which increased the project cost from the initial estimate of $550,000. The FY capital budget currently includes a line item of $650,000 for this project. Public Works is requesting the awarding of the contract for the design and construction of the new EMS facility and storage building to Industrial Engineering Company Incorporated, which submitted the lowest bid at $628,000. This vendor has successfully completed projects for the county in the past, most recently the Wharton Grounds Maintenance Shop. This bid includes full design and construction of the facility, but excludes furnishings. So after meeting with the vendor yesterday, we anticipate a start date of October and an approximate completion date late April, early May of 2025. And at this time, Public Works respectfully recommends the approval of this item. Any questions?
questions?
So, and I'm new at this,
Me too.
and I'm not a contractor and don't want to be. But. Me neither. I'm assuming that this would include the parking lot and,
So, yeah, the site is actually, Public Works is going to take care of the finishing off of the site. It's just the building itself that these guys are, and the design. So they're doing the design of the parking lot, but Roads will actually install the parking lot and driveway.
I actually had a conversation with Director Landon. And I took a second look at the specs that were put out there. And it appeared to me that there was nothing mentioned about, for lack of better words, some type of decor facing on the front of the building. And I sent him some pictures. And I may be the only one, but I don't think I am. I think it would be nice to maybe try to do something to make it look more like an office building as opposed to a pole building,
Right.
storage facility. At least on the front part of it.
Okay. I have not, we were just talking about color choices in our brief kickoff meeting yesterday that we had with them, but we could address additional design thoughts for the facade of the building.
And then you would bring that back to us for,
Yeah, and we could
you
review
know, I
that.
think there's a lot of ways to do that in a very cost-effective way. So.
Yeah, I believe you're correct in that. So, once we have a few more details, we can bring it back to the three
So
of you.
today, we're just going to approve the contract, and then we'll, after everybody's had a chance to look at what Commissioner Price is talking about, making the front look a little fancier, then we'll come back with that at a
Yes.
later date.
Yes, we can do that. So yes, at this time, it's just awarding the contract to Industrial Engineering Company Incorporated.
And again, for those that might be listening, this is a building that's going to house their EMTs and paramedics in the Chestertown area. We're kind of doing away with the Lynch facility. That's the idea when this is up and running. Am I right, Pete, that we'll be doing away with a Lynch facility because it was getting in pretty rough shape, and that was the idea of building this new building. So Any other questions? If there is no more
I'm
questions,
just
I'll,
going to say, based on this discussion, so you would anticipate either a contract addendum or change order to address the facade issues?
Yes, I believe it would just be a change order.
so I'll entertain a motion.
I'm happy to make a motion to award the contract for design and construction of the EMS facility and storage building with a total value of $628,000 to Industrial Engineering Company Incorporated pursuant to bid results of the RFP number GM 25-01.
I got a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it.
Wonderful, thank you.
Very good.
Mr. President, before we go to Carrie's second agenda item, I'd like to make another motion. Historically, Kent County has had the privilege to have a lot of leaders throughout the years, leaders that have truly made a big difference in our county government and our services to the citizens. And, we just approved a contract to build a new EMS building to house our paramedics and EMTs. And in the future, who knows, you may even have a fire truck in there at some point. Because our volunteers aren't at the level that they used to be. Although we have great volunteers and the county commissioners appreciate everything that they do. But I happen to know, and I think there's probably a few people in the room that know about this. In fact, I know Commissioner Fithian was one of the commissioners at the time that made the approval to approve this person's vision and idea. And that was to start a paramedic program here in the county. It was one of the first. It was a deputy paramedic back in 1996. And this was a vision that this person had because they knew how important it was to our citizens to have first responders available for medical emergencies. This person was also the Director of Emergency Services Management here in the county from October 24th, 1983 until April 12th, 2005. During his extraordinary service to Kent County, he demonstrated on several occasions his leadership, and most notably, like I just said, in 1996, he presented his vision and plan to implement the county's first paid paramedic program, which has grown into a 24/7 EMS system that we have here today. This person not only worked for the county for almost 22 years, he was also a dedicated volunteer in our community. He was very involved, and active with the Kenton Queen Anne's Rescue Squad, where he volunteered and served. And he also served as chief for 11 consecutive years. I have personally witnessed this person's commitment to help his fellow citizens of Kent County over the years, and I'm sure some of us in this room have as well. Therefore, I would like to make a motion to officially dedicate, when it's built, and name the proposed new EMS facility, which is going to be located on Flatland Road in Chestertown, Maryland, the Robert B. Rush Jr. Kent County Emergency Medical Services Headquarters.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second, yes,
We
sir.
have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. And I'd just like to further say that in my opinion, we couldn't have a better man's name on this building for all the reasons that Commissioner Price just pointed out. He I was here when we started this program, and it's, as John pointed out, it started out as a half of a police officer who happened to be a paramedic, plus he was one of our deputy sheriffs, John Longest, and we started with that, and every year after year after year, we added to it until today, as John pointed out. We have 24-hour coverage in 3 areas throughout the county, which is quite an achievement over the years. And I'm certainly thrilled that we would be naming this after Mr. Rust, who as was pointed out, had an integral part in all of this. So that was a great idea, John, and I wholeheartedly approve. So thank you.
Absolutely. I agree.
And there will come a time, I think, we'll have a little little groundbreaking ceremony, and Mr. Russ is 89 years old, I think, and we're hoping that we'll be able to have him there at the groundbreaking, so that would be a great day.
Very good. Made note.
Okay,
All right.
next up, we got Carrie again with Bayside Landing.
Yes. So Bayside Landing Park, as you are aware, sustained substantial damage during Tropical Storm Debbie. All piers experienced some damage, and county staff was able to repair all piers with the exception of Pier C in the days following the storm. Pier C was lifted off its pilings and broke in several locations. So since the necessary repair work is beyond the capabilities of county staff, this pier remains closed. Additionally, the county has received grant funding to replace the entire marina. This was already planned prior to the storm. So to replace the entire marina facility at Bayside, and construction is anticipated to begin in early November. And to reduce costs and shorten the project's duration, all slip holders at the landing will be required to relocate their boats for the entirety of the project, which is estimated to last approximately 4 months. So Public Works has prepared 3 letters that will be mailed to Bayside Landing slip holders. The letters, which are described in greater detail in the briefing notes, essentially cover the following. So there's 1 letter for slip holders with annual leases, excluding Pier C, notifying them of the anticipated dates their slips will be inaccessible and offering a 4-month credit towards next year's lease. Letter B is for slip holders on 6-month leases, which expire on November 30th, informing them that they will be credited for 1 month of inaccessibility due to construction. They will also not be charged for the first 3 months of their next lease, as the slips will be inaccessible due to construction. And then finally, letter C for slip holders at Pier C, advising them that the pier is now closed and that their boats will need to be safely removed with the assistance of Public Works if needed. A 4-month credit will be provided to all slip holders at this pier, all of whom are on 6-month leases. In short, all slip holders will be given financial relief for the 4 months of inaccessibility due to construction, with Pier C slip holders receiving additional relief for the loss of service between Tropical Storm Debbie and the start of construction. Any objections from the slip holders will be handled on a case-to-case basis. So I don't think any formal motion is required for this item. However, we wanted to bring it to your attention for input and feedback before proceeding as described. Any questions regarding that? It's a lot.
I think you've handled it about the best we can. It's one good thing about it. Come November, a lot of slips will become vacant in other places because people are going to be putting their boats on shore for the winter, and I think the people that have to move these boats will either put them on shore or there will be a slip available someplace.
Somewhere else.
It's coming at a good time when these people have to move. There's about, I think 40.
Yeah, 40.
Somewhere's around 40 boats there that will have to find a home for 3 or 4 months. And,
Yes, yeah.
But it's coming at a good time when I think that's certainly possible.
Yeah, and we're trying to give them enough runway to make those decisions and move the boats. It's just the Pier C holders that we're asking to move immediately, and most of those boats are already relocated. We have 3 boats sitting there right now still, so we'll be asking them to move sooner than later. But yeah, everybody else has a few months' time to find a spot to hold them over until we have the new marina open. So if there aren't any questions, I can move on to Wharton Park and the Sandpits.
I think we're fine. Good.
Okay.
No question.
Yeah.
Everybody
I
good.
think it's a great time.
Okay. So the MOU prepared by Chip McLeod of Beach Tennis Maryland LLC has been reviewed by County Attorney Tom Yeager. Mr. McLeod has accepted Mr. Yeager's revisions, and the MOU is now being presented in its final form. The MOU covers all aspects of the agreement between the county and the private entities involved. The foundation will fully fund the project, and any cost savings provided by the county donation will be reinvested into the project. For example, requested donations from the county include $9,160 in hard costs, and that would be stone and fabric for construction of the courts, and $3,600 in soft costs, which include trucking and disposal of excavated material, totaling $12,760. And then this donation represents a savings of $29,800 to the foundation per the contractor's quote, as it is more cost-effective for the county to provide these efforts and materials than for the contractor to do so. Per the MOU, the $29,800 saved by the foundation will still be invested in the park, potentially funding better quality sand, benches, improved sidewalks, lighting, and signage. The County Roads Division's supply of donated materials will need to be replenished after completion of the project at a cost of about $9,200. This will be funded using the existing Roads Division budget, which did not account for the donation. While no additional funding would be required at this time, we will continue to operate in an efficient and budget-conscious manner. We do respectfully note that the donation may necessitate additional funding to maintain typical Roads Division operation at some point in fiscal year '25. But at this time, Public Works respectfully recommends the approval of this MOU.
Any questions, gentlemen?
Now, I just comment, these courts also transition into volleyball courts.
Correct.
I just wanted to.
100%.
Yes,
public record.
multi-purpose, yep.
Yeah.
And the kids are excited.
Good.
The word's gotten out, and they're excited about
Yeah, it's going to
having new
look great.
volleyball courts.
Yeah.
Because it's gone in the same, where the volleyball courts are now.
Correct.
I just want to make sure nobody thinks that we're not having volleyball courts. That's all.
Correct.
Yes.
So I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the memorandum of understanding between Kent County, Maryland and the Beach Tennis Maryland LLC to permit privately funded construction of multi-use sand courts within Wharton Park.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you very much.
Okay, and just before I go briefly, I don't believe this requires a separate motion, but I wanted to defer to Shelley. I just wanted to confirm that the commissioners support the donation of the materials and services that was just
There is a cost to
described.
the county, so we
Right.
should probably get authorization if that's what they want to do, because it's not cost neutral. The county does have a cost
We're
incurred here.
using supplies that are already in stock. We may be able to absorb replenishment of that within our budget. We may not. We may have to come back and ask for a little bit of extra money to restock so that we can continue
For the
operations.
stone.
Correct.
Yeah.
Supplies, yeah.
And they're going to do some in-kind service, I think, as far as moving some dirt or something in that part of it.
Correct.
We should probably have a motion just to authorize that. Because it's not, those costs aren't quantified in the MOU. There's a discussion about them, but the actual cost that you listed here in the background information, that's something that I would recommend that they vote on to approve if that's what they want to do.
Certainly.
Okay, so that would be for the cost of some stone and some in-kind service.
Was it $12,000? Is that what I heard?
It's,
Not even.
yeah,
Fine.
So it's $9,160 in hard costs, so that's for stone and fabric, and then it's approximately $3,600 in soft costs, which is the trucking and the staffing time to
Disposing of.
to move the material and dispose of the excavated materials as well as move in the stone.
I'll make a motion that if additional funding is needed to complete the project, not to exceed $15,000, that the county will find the funds to do that, either with contingency or maybe even fund balance.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, the ayes have it.
Thank you very much. That's all I have today, unless you have any additional questions for Public Works today.
You've got one more thing, right?
I do.
It's just an item for signature, it doesn't need discussion.
Well, I do.
You'd like to talk about it?
Yeah, well,
That's fine.
not particularly, something
Okay.
along the same lines. Jill, you don't have to stay for that. Welcome to, I'm not trying to get rid of you by no sense.
I need my support
Jill's running.
No, but this is, your next item is a sewer allocation, I'm assuming?
Yes.
And this has already been presented to you. It was on July 23rd, 2024. It had been presented and approved. So this is simply the Public Works Agreement that memorializes.
Okay. But what I was going to bring up is, and I spoke to Dan about probably 3 weeks ago, where there was Herman Hill lives, he's a farmer down, has applied for a couple of sewer allocations along their sewer line that goes down towards East Neck Island. And they had a plat that shows two properties that could have mound systems. It was signed off by our planning director at the time and our health department person. I guess it was Ed Burkmeyer and probably Gail Owens. I know Gail's signature was on there to allow for these two mound systems to be placed on this property. That was back in 1991, and we still had, we got the plats and stuff for them. Since then, we've put a sewer line down in front of it, and the request is instead of now that they intend on using these two spots, instead of building mound systems, they should be hooked up to the sewer system. I know Dan is aware of this. I talked to him. I said, now it's been about 3 weeks ago, probably. Mr. Hill has some medical issues, is why I was speaking on his behalf. But this is when Dan got back to me, he said that this could take place, but they would have to maybe redo the water and sewer, comprehensive water and sewer plan. I guess just to show this piece of property falls in that. But the fact that they were approved for mound systems, that was the idea in the beginning when we put these things down, that any property that was available to be hooked up could be, and especially if they had perk tests approved or mound systems approved. We don't really want mound systems, but that was their only option back in 1991, where now it's not. So I guess what I'm asking is how we can go get this thing approved for Mr. Hill. And I thought Dan was going to be here today, but
Yeah. That I would have to look into an answer for you. I wouldn't be able to speak to that.
Excuse me?
I wouldn't be able to speak to that directly right now. We would have to look into that
Okay.
response. for
I
you.
believe he has items already on the next meeting's agenda. He intends on being here, so he'll be here then.
Okay.
Okay, yes.
then that will do it. Thank you.
Thank you.
And then we have a letter. Shelley, you want to comment on the next one, or is it just,
This is simply on here so that the three of you can sign it, review it and/or sign it, but this is as a result of Commissioner Price's motion at the last meeting, after our discussion about the reduced funding allocation for the local health department, the state core funding.
any questions? I mean, they're just,
I think it was a very well-written letter.
Yeah.
Very diplomatic.
Very diplomatic, but I feel that, I don't know that it's going to make any difference, but at least Annapolis knows how we feel about it.
I agree.
very good. Okay, couple things. First of all, we're down to the public comment or media review. If there's any questions from the public, now's the time. If you have any comment or concerns, now's the time to feel free to speak up. Mr. Sandelman, would you want to come up and let me just briefly?
Well, sure.
Yeah, come up. Have a seat. Please.
You're in the hot
Just,
seat.
no, introduce yourself and, I received a phone call from Mr. Sanderlin, and he is with the Banner newspaper, is that?
We don't have a paper, we're online.
Oh, okay.
Left the paper behind. My name's Lee Sanderlin, I'm a reporter with the Baltimore Banner. I'm a politics reporter. We're doing a series of articles. I've never spoke to a public body like this before, excuse me. We're doing a series of articles in our newsroom this year that basically we're going to all the different parts of Maryland and just determining, or talking to folks about, what do people care about, and then relating back to why geographies tend to vote the way they do. And I drew the Kent County assignment, so here I am.
Well, and I've agreed to show Mr. Sanderlin around a little bit or talk, get him, introduce him to everybody, and I thought maybe it would be better if you said what you
Sure.
kind of had on your mind instead of me trying to explain it. But thank you for coming. We're glad to have you, and we'll talk more after the meeting.
For the meeting, yeah. Thanks.
Thank you.
So what did you think about Kent County when you came across the bridge? Well, you actually came into Queen Anne's.
Well,
first.
yeah, so I came.
First
came across the
impression.
bridge.
Your first impression.
I thought it was really pretty. My family's from like down east of North Carolina, and it reminded me a bit of that. So that was nice.
Thank you.
Where 78% of our county is agriculture here.
87%,
Is
actually.
it?
Yeah.
87? I stand corrected.
Well, we do have a couple closed sessions that we're going to have to ask everyone to leave while we go into closed session. Mr. Sanderlin, this shouldn't take long, and I'll see you when we're done. So if I could get a motion to go into closed session.
I'll make a motion to go into closed session under the Annotated Code of Maryland General Provisions, Article 3-305, little b, 7, to consult with counsel to obtain legal advice and to consult with staff, consultants, or other individuals about pending or potential litigation, and 1, to discuss the appointment, employment, assignment, promotion, discipline, demotion, compensation, removal, resignation, or performance evaluation of appointees, employees, or officials over whom this public body has jurisdiction, or any other personnel matter that affects one or more specific individuals. There are 2 matters to be discussed during the closed session. First, we expect to discuss the legal opinion of the county attorney concerning potential litigation matters. And second matter will be the qualifications, compensation, job responsibilities for a vacant position and a specific individual's job performance.
I have a motion, I have a second.
Second, yes, sir.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, the ayes